Hello, welcome back to the ministry. And today I'm doing something a little bit different. Okay. So last night I was watching TV, and it's funny because God been doing this. I've been telling y'all, God been doing this to me lately. I'll be in that mode like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to turn TV off. And then the Lord will be like, I'm going to switch channels. So I switched the channel, and on Bounce TV, it was the movie The Backup Plan. And I'm like, when I saw the title for it, I was like, that's that movie about the women that were seeking somebody to be the fathers of their kids or something. I knew what it was, but I was like, huh. And I knew Jennifer Lopez was in it. I was like, and I almost turned the TV off again, but the Lord didn't let me turn the TV off. So I ended up watching it from the point in which I turned it on at to the end of the movie. And the Lord started speaking to me about something. So we gonna actually pretty much do this is almost in a weird way, a comparison contrast and a extension of what I was talking about when it relates to the Mary and Joseph situation. Okay. So let me grab my Bible and then we're going to jump back into this. Okay, we're back, as you can see. Bible in front of me. So let's start here with the scripture. Matthew 1:18. Now the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph, before they came together, she was found to be with child of the Holy Spirit. And her husband Joseph, being a just man and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to divorce her quietly. But as he considered this, behold, an angel of the Lord, Joseph, son of David, do not fear, take Mary as your wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sin. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophet. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called Emmanuel, which means God is with us. When Joseph woke from his sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him, and he took his wife and knew her not until she had bore a son, and he called his name Jesus. Now, what does this have to do with that movie? Well, this is for you guys that are about to go into sudden union with your spouse. So here's the parallel between this movie and Breaking Dawn. When Bella and Edward were on their honeymoon, they had been there literally 2 weeks. And it was only within that 2-week time frame that at the end of that 2 weeks, she got sick. And as we know, morning sickness is something that it can start at any particular point in time, but she was having an acceleration. So what a normal person will hit at about anywhere from six weeks to 3 months, she had it within 2 weeks, which brings back acceleration. Okay? Acceleration into morning sickness. So, with this film, what happened is Jennifer Lopez's character had met the guy and they ended up sleeping together, and within that period of time she found out that she was pregnant after only having slept with him one time. What am I saying? Some of you, and this has been a constant word that people have been saying from everybody that I listen to, that you going to sleep with your spouse and it's going to be a done deal. Meaning, some of y'all going to get pregnant on the first try. If it isn't the first try, it's going to be within that time frame. Just like with Bella, her and Edward were being intimate for that 2-week period, meaning it's going to happen. Okay? So if you're doing it, expect to get pregnant. All right. Now, and this also ties into, remember the word that I did on Fools Rush In? Matter of factly, it wasn't even on Fools Rush In. It was a word I did prior to Fools Rush In, talking about you will be pregnant when you get married. That's going to tie in here in a minute. Follow me. So, what am I saying? We going to do this the right way. Okay? Get married. Okay? But for those of you that are called to elope, which means nobody you know is going to see you get married, but y'all going to get married. Okay? But what's going to happen is, because y'all got married and y'all was still doing married folks things, you're still going to get pregnant immediately. Yes. But no official wedding ceremony may take place. You understand what I'm saying? You legally were married, but nobody you know will have seen it. You understand what I'm saying? And with that, God's still going to do what he promised. He didn't need you to have an actual wedding ceremony with all these witnesses of your family to get you pregnant. He just needed y'all to get married. We've talked about courthouse weddings. We've talked about big weddings. We've talked about what have you. If God wants this, y'all just might sign the paperwork and have a ceremony to legalize y'all's wedding or marriage. But it's not going to be big. It's going to be quick, one and done. Okay? Nobody may see that. Okay? Because we still out here doing it the right way. There are two fields of thought that are coming against each other right now in this community. So I will say this right here. Beware. Okay? You sit with the Lord and you determine what the Lord told you. Okay? The Lord. Meaning you sat in prayer, you fasted, you prayed. You and your spouse sat in prayer and fasted and prayed for 24 hours. Whatever it was. To make the determining decision as to what you're going to do after that point of the engagement. All right? But a lot of you will end up eloping. This is something that has come up a couple of times for me. And when this happens, you're going to get pregnant either on the night y'all get married or within a matter of weeks of it. In that movie, She got pregnant immediately. She was with her group of females having a panic attack, literally blowing into a paper bag because of the fact that she realized she got pregnant on a one and done, meaning one shot, didn't take nothing. Not only did she get pregnant, one and done, multiples. She got pregnant with twins. All right. How many of us have been hearing twins, twins, multiples, twins, twins? I heard Lady Jeremiah did a word, and she said quintuplets, and Loving Miracles with Ray said quadruplets. Some gonna have triplets. So multiples will come out of the situation. So see how this lines up? But here comes the journey of the situation. This may be what God's intention is. Some of you are not going to court because you're going to elope. But because you eloped, the emotions that were not dealt with in the courtship will be dealt with in the pressure cooker of you being pregnant and both of you coming into dealing with your own traumas as you're preparing for your children. Okay? Now, going back to Breaking Dawn, Edward was detached the majority of Bella's pregnancy, mostly because he was scared for her life, because it was taking nutrients from her body, and no one had determined at that point that what the baby needed was what actually the child's father needed. Because we were talking about vampires, he's a vampire. The child needed blood. So that's what was being taken out of her system, which was causing her to get sick. It was not allowing her to eat food. Now, getting back to that, he was very disgruntled the majority of the pregnancy, meaning he was separated from her. He did what she needed, but he was not happy. He loved her enough to circumvent his emotions on the situation and help her, but he was not happy. The closer she got to delivery, the more uncomfortable he got because it was taking from her life in that situation. Okay? The way I say that is this. With all these things going on in society in relation to health, in relation to children and bearing children, know your family lineage, history, and so forth on what it is happens with your family females in that range, what that history looks like, so on and so forth. Pray against any of those types of things happening. Know yourself, know your body, do the best that you can for your body to be able to carry a child to the fullest of its term, okay? Just do the best that you know how to do. Eat right. If you can exercise, because most with multiples can't really exercise that much. So if you can get the exercise in before you get pregnant, do what you can do. But do that. Get your diet right. If you know you have certain type of issues, for instance, I know I have acidic issues. If I got acidic issues, that's going to make me more prone to morning sickness or evening sickness or what have you than I know that I need to try my best to cut out or cut down as much as possible on acidic things. Okay. Um, which also means understanding your fruits, understanding your veggies, understanding those types of things. If it gives you too much acid, like if you eat too much pineapple, so on and so forth. Things that you know are acidic prone, you stay away from those during your pregnancy. You try to keep your palate as least acidic as possible, which is kind of hard because I was literally watching a food program, and they say that the thing that makes your food taste the best is that slight acidity in comparison to the salt content. So it's the acid that makes the flavoring, which I was like, really? And it's like when you eat a burger, you tend to put what? Ketchup, pickles, onion, things that have high acid content. And that's what gives it the balance of flavor in comparison to not having those things, right? So, yeah, you may have to look at your diet. Know what you need for your body. Understand the family tree of health issues and the things that you're going to need to be prevalent in understanding during your pregnancy so that you can have the smoothest pregnancy as possible. Okay? Um with that being said, going back to the film that I watched last night, you and your spouse are going to go through a season of certain things that they going to worry about and certain things that you're going to worry about, okay? So she made the understanding that she was assisting him in whatever it was. He was a restaurant retailer, what have you. And she went to dinner with him for this event a few months after her pregnancy because you could tell that she was already showing by this point. And she was triggered because they had a whole bunch of seafood there that night. So the second she saw that seafood and then they put something directly in front of her face, and you know how pregnant women are. Certain meats will make a pregnant woman nauseous. So she ran to the bathroom immediately. But it's that understanding of you're going to have to adjust to that balance. Your spouse may also need you in certain realms. And I mean, she probably just wanted to support. And some of us will want to support, but we may be able to, we may not be able to support our spouses in this condition, which is going to frustrate us because it's that element. I want to support you, but I can't move around like I want to move around. And as for us having been in seasons of isolation, we kind of want to come out a little bit, and God will be like, nah, I need you to stay home because, yeah, he's going to go out, but I'm going to need you to stay home because people can't see you like you are right now. And you're going to have to understand that. And it also may be certain things that will trigger you. She was triggered to get sick when she saw that particular type of food. Some things you may not emotionally and physically be ready to handle in the world while you're in this condition. So you may want to remove yourself from being out there like that. Okay? Next. She was also trying to come into the adjustment of running into people. She ran into her old group of friends. You may have some run-ins with old acquaintances while you're in this state. Okay? old friends, old acquaintances, so on and so forth. And she felt like an outcast to these people. But interestingly enough, they didn't see her as an outcast. They were just saying that, oh, we thought this at the time, but we really weren't kicking you out of the situation. There may be restoration of friendship and groups during this time frame as you are preparing to elevate. Be cautious of who wants to become close to you in this season, because you don't need nobody that's going to drain your energy while you're pregnant. Okay? You don't need that. So from this point, she's starting to observe herself, meaning she's looking at her body. A lot of us, I know me, I've been skinny my whole life. Skinny. And even skinnier since I went vegan. So for me, it's going to be an adjustment. Now, am I going to be happy to gain some weight? Absolutely, because I have not had that much weight on me in the prior months to couple years. Between stress, between my diet, between being vegan and my fasting regimen, it's been hard for me to hold weight on me. So for me, pregnancy is actually going to add a level of weight that I've been missing for years. So, but it's going to be an adjustment, because you know how we are as women. We go through that phase of, look at my body. My body doesn't look like it used to. Hey, I'm not pressed about my body staying super skinny. Okay? I'm not. For me, I know that I want a reasonable range of weight on me. Reasonable. Okay? But some women get caught up in their figure. And she was sitting there in one of the scenes where she was looking at old pictures of herself and the way her body looked when she from years prior to that. Now, these are things that you're going to have to deal with adjusting in relation to. It's like, yeah, you're going to not look like you once did. Breathe in and release. Okay? Once you have the babies, your physical body's not going to look like it did. Meaning you're going to have weight in places that you didn't have it before. And it's not going to be pretty weight. Now, if you had one child, there are women that have one child, they just have that, they a little thick. But if you have multiples, you might end up having one of them outstanding pouches because of the fact that you got that baby fat from your entire stomach being stretched out for however many multiple children that you carried. Okay? And then you're going to have to adjust to that. And then if you had a C-section, look at how much time it's going to take for that to go back. Now, we ain't out here trying to have cosmetic surgery where it's like, oh, when we had the C-section, you have the, what is it, the tummy tuck that they do when you have the kids. We ain't out here like that. Plus, I don't even think God would want you to do that. But, plus, it doesn't look natural after it's done. But, she was dealing with that. But at the same time, simultaneously, the guy she was dating, he was having a conniption fit because he was sitting there talking to his friend who had been married and had kids. And while he was talking to him, his friend was saying, oh yeah, well, once you have kids, this happens, and once you have kids, that happens, and forget about your finances, because if one child is $20,000 and you gonna have two, so the man sitting there calculating the amount of money that is gonna cost him to have these kids anyway. And one night there, he's got this on his mind, and she's sitting there eating what she eat in bed because she's like, oh my goodness, hungry in the middle of the night. And he's calculating. They're sitting there trying to read the I don't know whether it's what to expect when you expect a book or what, but they both read it. She's like, I'm on page this, and he's like, I stopped reading at this page. Be prepared that some of your guys may not be as into the understanding of your pregnancy as you think. Now, prayerfully, you will have somebody that has that kind of desire that they want to have that kind of involvement, so they are willing to read the books, they're willing to engage you in conversation, they're willing to go through that entire process of, because they desire to have knowledge about what you're going through. You get that guy, keep that guy, love that guy, that is your guy. Because he doesn't want you to be the only one going through this experience. But in this film, the guy was actually going through the process of getting his it was some type of degree in something. And I didn't know how many semesters he had left, but he became so concerned about the money that he was going to drop out of school because he was too afraid that if he stayed in school, he wasn't going to be able to maintain the load with the kids and all of that. So, but he didn't tell her that. There are things that your goddamn spouse may not feel like he needs to tell you. One, he doesn't want to put that much stress on you while you're pregnant. So he's not going to tell you certain things that he's going to do in relation to trying to make sure that your house has the most peace in it. Okay? That's one. Next, he was stressing. Some of your spouses are going to have a way that they process this experience. Now, you need to take the time and really just, if the Lord has shown you anything about your goddamn spouse, certain things that they've been dealing with, certain things, there may be things that they are subconsciously dealing with that they may or may not talk to you about. Childhood traumas, things in relation to the way that they had a relationship with their parents, and it may be affecting how they are viewing or dealing with your pregnancy. Okay, so you're going to have to be aware, and there are going to be times you're going to want to talk to them about these things, but you also have to see when's the best time. This is the type of thing that you're going to have to take to the Lord to pray about, when best time to talk to them about this stuff is, because they have to come out of their shell on that, because they have certain issues that they're dealing with, and they're going to need to talk to you about it. But you're both in a pressure cooker, because you're dealing with the emotional side effects of being pregnant, while they may be dealing with the financial side effects and their own emotional things in relation to their own parental issues and traumas. Okay? So you're going to have to come together and find a balance of things that you're going to have to sit down and discuss. So it's almost as if You create a safe space, one, to talk about these things, two, that they feel like I can see the plan in this and I'm no longer afraid of the process. You understand what I'm saying? If that's the way your spouse balances. Because it's weird, because in the middle of the movie, he was dealing with the stress of the financial thing and went into the kitchen and started cooking up pancakes. And the amount of pancakes that he cooked was ridiculous. It looked like it was 5 plates of almost 100 pancakes. And she was in there like, honey, come to bed. Come to bed. And he started talking about the finances. He was literally showing her, this is the issue that I'm having right now. This is my concern. Your God ordained spouse will probably tell you his concern, whether he thinks he's telling you about his concern or not. Okay? So you're going to have to be aware and listen. And when you listen and hear, take that back to the Lord. Now, the catch-22 to this is this. You used to fasting to get a prayer through, okay? You can't fast when you're pregnant. Now, some women I know, they do fast. What they do is they change their diet the day that they're going to fast on, meaning they might do fruit, they might do fish, they might do what have you, but they reduce their content of food ingestion for a day or throughout that time frame. And then they eat a big meal at the end of the day or something like that. But in order to fast through that period. So it's about, there may be ability to do it, but you have to do it carefully, and it may be just the decision to reduce what you eat on the day that you're deciding to fast, meaning you're going to still eat, you're just going to change what you're eating, meaning you're going to do more fruits and juices, and then you're also going to meaning light things. You're eating light things throughout the day, and then you're going to have your meal at the end of the day. But whatever it is that the Lord leads you, if he desires for you to fast about certain issues, okay? We're coming to the end of this one, and we're going to come back. So I'm going to be right back for the next part.